I've tasted unemployment and I've tasted 9 to 5. I recommend not being born. Someone in my running group ran a marathon in his driveway. All 26 miles. I would have literally gone insane. Free my cousin. Nah, keep him until he relax. I tried to take a selfie with a toad I caught, but I forgot I had my headlamp on, so it looks like he's getting raptured. This is scary for us, but imagine if you were the toad. Mississippi has a larger GDP per capita than Chongqing. How? What if wealth is not LED lights? How do we defeat the monster? Does it have a weak point? Monster in question. The ears. Almost fell off my couch in shock while watching Dexter. Encountering memes in their natural habitat is one of modern living's great joys. What's your Chuggington shipping hot takes? What are you talking about? If you're fat, go to the gym. If you're broke, learn code. If you're lost, search inwards. Vegeta, your wife is a billionaire. You've never had a job, and she puts her fingers in your... What? Really, Vegeta? My dad looks just like his sister, so it looks like he's arguing with the part of himself that wants to dress like a woman. Passengers stuck on a delayed flight to Seattle get an unexpected concert from a jazz band. Horrible situation. No, this is amazing. A jazz band? I'd live for this. Girlfriend is crying. Me, an empath. I'm sensing that you want me to go play PlayStation for a while. What's the difference between falling in love and having a crush? If they get a haircut and they're ugly, it's a crush. That's a weirdly valid point. Some of you never went swimming as a kid and tried to force a boogie board underwater, only for it to shoot back up and hit you in the face, and it shows. In World War I, around 8 million horses died, but in World War II it was under 1 million, which can only mean horses started to evolve bullet resistance. I could convince Joe Rogan that this is real. Can we build a separate grocery store for people who actually have purchased food before, know how to push a cart, and possess at least an ounce of spatial awareness? I'm fine. Young men are literally dying because they won't see a doctor. This is why men with wives live longer. Why are men scared to talk to women? Me, at the mere thought of making a woman uncomfortable. See guys, we're just that respectful. It's not because we have anxiety. Okay, so he just makes this face whenever he meets a president, I guess. What's the opposite of zoomies? That's what I have. The gloomies. She's better off without me, and soon enough she'll forget the color of my eyes and the way we laugh together, while I'll be trapped in those memories forever. Looks like you're eating good though. You're a kitchen cell? Oh, I think this guy gave up his kidney for this car. Here are the numbers from 10 to 100 in alphabetical order. How old were you when you were first diagnosed with autism? This dog is so hairy. Its snout looks like an eye. That's not an eye? Put a band-aid on. As the French say, le boubou. Do you want to see the most illegal thing I own? The whole of One Piece on a disc. Happy Pride from the legend himself, a video game Kojima. People in the West have asked why no diversity in my games, but they're wrong when all my games have included a gay character. You, the player. At least during the 1918 pandemic, they had drugs in their soda. 2020 sucks. Effective immediately, we're putting the drugs back in it. Before drinking, eat liver so that the alcohol doesn't know which liver to attack. Bro's last brain cell when he thought of this idea. Telling a guy from 1900s we have nuclear-powered capital ships that weigh 100,000 tons, and he gets excited and asks me how big their main guns are, and I choke up and look away. Tracy Morgan reveals he gained 40 pounds despite taking weight loss drugs. I can out-eat Ozempic. A British YouTuber has gone viral after getting caught in the middle of Nepal's political overthrow. You could be stumbling through the deepest depths of hell and still find a British tourist just hanging out. These emotions do not exist. These emotions exist, but only if you've worked retail long enough to develop them. Why does calling in sick feel like a crime? They definitely start programming us from primary school. Awards for 100% attendance, shamed for being sick. It's twisted. Do you mind if my 4 kids just absolutely destroy the store while I say nothing for 15 minutes? Evil Markiplier. Goodbye, nobody my name isn't Evil Markiplier. I'm not kidding, this post came out of nowhere and I fell down the stairs. The water cup I was holding broke and fell on top of the television. I had to go get another. This post costed me $3,000. Peak developer responds to Roblox copy, Cliff, after it surpasses 163,000 plays. Would you rather pirate our game than play this microtransaction riddled slop ripoff? Kind of based though, in a weird way. Tweets that have me crying for 10 minutes straight. Wait, Sonic is an otter? He looks kind of like an otter. The Hedgehog? If my last name was The Hedgehog, and some witch on Twitter asked if I was an otter, I'd be on the news. Lust, gooning, wrath, crushing out, envy, pocket watching, gluttony, big bag, pride, main character energy, sloth, doom scrolling, greed, thirsty. Me, successfully convincing the firefighter that I won't die from this fire because I'm in the living room. Sparkling water enjoys when you hand them normal water instead of their their nuclear acid. Another day of my dad forgetting our Amazon accounts are linked. Here's your reminder. Do the deed with your wife. Update. After telling my mum, my dad called to apologize, but then in the background my mum made doing the deed noises as a joke and I almost threw up. I wish we kept a fraction of a 4-year-old's imagination. Normal male lifestyle. Child, teen, adult, elderly. Optimized male lifestyle. 20, you wanna die at 27? Man, I sure hope that I still have eggs in my fridge. No, you don't, said the egg guy as he was eating the last eggs. Picks up crying baby. It's okay, buddy. When you grow up, you'll learn how to do this on the inside. Found this online. I'm interested in your analysis. Gabby, what a hot little name. Same as my guinea pig, actually. Turns me on a little extra. I think that would turn me off. I know you won't translate since during speech to Norwegian. Sans Undertale. Dude called Dream the F slur and also slaughtered James Charles in Minecraft. Literally a national hero. Couples left bikes in yard to lure thieves, beat them with bats, and posted videos on YouTube. I'll allow it. No more rage baiting around me, please. Let's try joy baiting, perhaps even love baiting. You listen to a new song. It captures your weird taste in music perfectly. The band is still making music. The rest of their music sounds totally different. An American tourist grabbed a pickpocket girl by the ponytail while vacationing in Italy and refused to let her go until she got her passport and credit cards back. You guys gonna stop playing with us? We only get 2 weeks of vacation per year and you're not making us spend it at the embassy getting a new passport. I'm such a I want your attention, but won't bother you kind of person. Got that vampire autism where you gotta invite me every time. This is what having a wizard in your contacts is like. I can't hang out tonight. I foresaw a dire omen. Okay, man. Me, realizing I can pretend to be a 13-year-old to kidnap 200 predators and make my own Squid Game. Should I do that? Every time I come home, this is the first face that greets me. Just finished my art piece. I call it American Grind. Share a piece of movie theater lore about yourself. Once saw a film so catastrophically bad, the group of strangers I watched it with ended up debriefing in the corridor and bonded over our shared disbelief. My friend got in trouble for destruction of government property. Guess what she did? She gave her husband a hickey. Her husband is a Marine. The hickey was visible while he was in uniform, so she got a call saying, "You harmed government property, don't do it again." They can do that? Superman is now available on digital. Wait, how is Mr. Terrific flying here? Dog. If she forgives you, then 30 minutes later comes back mad again. She told her friends in the group chat that the board of directors did not agree. Someone repainted a Hot Wheels Star Destroyer and photographed it inside a cardboard tube with cotton woolen LED lights. Emmanuel Kant. He never left his hometown, never married, never changed his daily scheduled diet, and died presumably happy and mildly bored at the age of 80. His last words were, "It's fine." I don't have anything to add to the virus conversation except this is my favorite image from the era. Every day of my life is hell. The pervert messaged you. We gotta reconnect, bro. They're doing this to me later today. They actually did this to me last week. Damn, man, should I be worried? You'll get used to it. Okay. Hiding in my room because the kids did not get my introvert gene, and now there are too many people in the house. At this point, I'm willing to pay more money for appliances with zero smart features, and just physical knobs, buttons, and controls for everything. My elderly mother doesn't want to move. She is now surrounded by new townhouses in all directions. She stood on business. My girlfriend gets naked every time we start to argue, and I hate it because I'm weak. And just don't be weak. This is a form of manipulation though. Beep, $29.99. Rich people. I don't want a child unless I can support them. Poor people every 9 months. I work in a lab that studies small tropical fish, and these were the notes on someone's spreadsheet that they left open. Was hiding behind plant, confused by filter, attacked bubbles, largely ignored food. Just saw a TikTok of someone saying never buying garlic again, after they literally discovered this hack and planted garlic in their backyard. Brother, do you think you just discovered agriculture? Plant a seed. This Ohio man thought he had secured a vacant lot at an auction for just $5,000, intending to build his dream home. But here's the twist. He unknowingly purchased the entire street, including multiple homes. Now the city wants it back, but legally it's his. Introvert in office. Is it a good or bad plan? A guy joined my office 6 months ago, and within a week he texted me asking for some money. I found it weird, and later learned from some colleagues that he had texted them as well. Because of this, we started avoiding him in the office and stopped inviting him to office parties. Today, I met him at a bike club, and he had a Harley Davidson. We talked for a while, and I jokingly asked him, "Bro, why do you need money when you can afford a Harley?" He replied that he didn't really need the money. He's an introvert and didn't like talking to people. Asking for money from colleagues makes them avoid him in the office. Dude's a legend. I do not change to be more effective. I do not come back later when I'm stronger. I do not learn enemy attacks. I brute force bosses, and if I die, I try again until I win. My mom is so fake. We're at a family dinner sitting across from each other, and I text her, and she yells, "What's wrong, baby? Why do you want to leave?" Okay, lady, enjoy the retirement home. I don't think that she's fake. It sounds like she just didn't understand what you were trying to say. Just completed a 3-minute task I put off for 4 months. Give me substances to abuse. Absolute myth that us young people are the ruder generation. I just offered a prehistoric dinosaur my seat, and she replied, "I've got legs, you know." You won't in a minute, you old bat. You're laughing. Charles Dickens had a son named Plawn, and you're laughing. He had a son named what? Plawn. Name an actor with incredible range. I'll go first. It's the same actor? What? 10 sets of wasting your husband's money. Deedsby 29 talking about, what's the move tonight? Bro, go start a family. My ability to disassociate has become too powerful. Now I'm just watching the fall of America. Like, yeah, that happens to empires. While I look for dog hats on Amazon. Not to sound like a boomer, but the forced switch from wired headphones / earphones to Bluetooth is one of the worst technology. No, it isn't. I don't understand why my cooking was garbage. I did everything right. I drank the wine while I cooked. I had a hand towel over my shoulder. Literally everything right. When your homeboy Lukey says something intelligent, just to see it word for word on TikTok a minute later. Camping guys, when they wake up in the middle of the night to take the fattest leak of their life, only to be blessed with the best view. My job is forcing us to have a meeting about what is causing our burnout, and I pulled this in the chat. Players being traded up in sports makes me sad. What about their friends? Being a lawyer is hard, but winning is very fun. I feel like there aren't many jobs where a person in authority says, "Okay, you're the winner," and then signs a little piece of paper declaring that to be true. Red Dead Redemption is cool because you can ride to town to sell a rat pelt for $1.10, so you can afford horse food, but you accidentally bump into a farmer and cause a 17-minute long shootout with 30 cowboy cops, and now you can't go back to that town unless you pay a $243 bounty. Video game logic. Yes, Quent Image excels at following precise rule-breaking instructions. A fried egg with a blue yolk. You can do this in Photoshop in like 30 seconds. Confirmed. I don't understand why I turn into a functioning human being at night. Is it because it's quiet? There's no one around? My delayed sleep cycle? It's all of those things, isn't it? My dad must pay my monthly cell phone bill as atonement for his original sin of creating my consciousness. Thanks, your payment was successful. My BVC, bossy boomer coworker, saw me using keyboard shortcuts, and when she noticed I had copy-pasted instead of saying, "Oh neat, what a time saver," she told me it was against company policy. Sometimes you gotta speedrun every single stage of grief within 25 minutes and then just lock back in. So it finally happened. I asked, "Hey, how are you?" As we normally do out of habit, they responded, "Not well actually." I asked if they wanted to talk about it. They said, "I think so." So I listened to a stranger for 20 minutes. They gave me a big hug and thanked me after. Noah's Ark couldn't carry these animals. My teammate lacked a frontal lobe and seemed to have been lobotomized. Me and my Overwatch teammates. Bro, I know marriage is scary, but may I present the following argument? Deploy your units, don't let the Gundam and white base escape. Please get a job, my mom desperately cries from outside my room. As I strategically Photoshop an image of something I like on the Krusty Krab and something I dislike on the Chum Bucket. She's completely oblivious to the amount of retweets I'll be compensated for this masterpiece. Currently working on a diary full of lies. I want my loved ones to read it after I die and be like, "Wait, what?" And your 20s are for, actually my 20s are for rediscovering all of my interests from a decade ago and realizing that 12-year-old me was kind of onto something. I love it when dogs try to help, but the task at hand requires 0 dogs, so they just kind of stand in front of you and look serious. One's man's psych ward patient is another man's she's all I've ever wanted. I couldn't decide if I wanted bangs or not, so I cut bangs for my daughter and she looked awful. Dodged a bullet there. And your daughter's gonna do this right back to you when you're old. A table tipped me $300 and wrote on the check, "Women like you deserve 2 things. Money and men who don't cheat. We got you on both." And left their son's number. I hate texting people when they start sending voice recordings. Take your word to the studio. Hollow Knight Silk Song will use pixels to render its graphics. Confirmed. 4-year-old golden tiger Ava goes viral and the internet can't keep up with her cuteness. Another perfect beautiful day to ingest stimulants and sit at computer. What a blessed life. Do you clean your lint trap every time you use your dryer? Fun fact, I told off my husband for not cleaning the lint trap and he got mad and said he always cleaned it. And when I showed him the lint trap uncleaned, he got quiet and said, "I didn't know that was there." But before I got too smug, I asked him what he thought the lint trap was and showed me a second lint trap I didn't know about. It was the most net zero argument ever. Buying a house is like, we have no way of knowing you'll pay back this mortgage of £500 a month. I've been paying my landlord £1,000 a month. Why can't you save up 25k to reassure us that you can afford 500? Because I've been paying my landlord £1,000 a month. And this is exactly why a lot of us probably will never own a house. I think I could marry you, but I think you might need an exorcism first. Because something's off, and I'm not sure if it's a demon or autism. I was willing to look over it because you're hot, but it might actually be an issue. Cold showers can help reduce muscle soreness and increase muscle recovery. Me, 5 seconds in. You admit that I know 8 less famous reindeer. You admit it. And then you have the unmitigated gall to ask if I recall the most famous reindeer of all. Just learned about intrusive sleep, and so much of my life makes sense. If, on the other hand, an individual with ADHD loses interest in an activity, his nervous system disengages in search of something more interesting. Sometimes this disengagement is so abrupt as to induce sudden extreme drowsiness, even to the point of falling asleep. Well, my college experiences make so much more sense now. Going from doing no work and getting A's to trying and having issues and disengaging. I met a guy in San Francisco who only hires engineers who've rage quit at least one unicorn. He says if you haven't deleted Slack and flown to VaazkL mid-sprint, you haven't suffered enough to write clean abstractions. Their interviews start with, tell me about the last time you lost faith in your PM. If the story ends in therapy, he fast tracks you. He calls it trauma-oriented development. Apparently retention is through the roof.